important business conferences, a wider car is proposed. Some drivers feel that cars should be equipped with anti-passing devices. Some motorists demand arched boxcars for stalled freight trains. For on-the-spot traffic analysis, the elevator seat. And for the hopelessly trapped motorist, the portable automobile. Here is the motorist's dream come true, the disposable highway vehicle. A mobile car wash would provide complete service en route. To combat driving fatigue, we might welcome the highway slumber bus. Swift justice for the traffic violator. Arrested, tried, and sentenced, all in a package deal. As I said before, artists are very talented people. But for some reason, those ideas just didn't seem to be the right answers to our driving problems. However, we're not ones to give up easily around here. If these new ideas weren't too practical, maybe the answer was to show the drivers the correct way to use the facilities already available. So it was back to the drawing board. This time, the results were different. In fact, so different that I want every one of you, be you driver, non-driver, or even a backseat driver, to sit up straight and pay attention to what you're about to see and hear. You can learn something that might save your life.
When the first settlers landed in America, it was a vast, unexplored wilderness. Trails soon appeared, of course, and eventually became tracks or wagon roads during the westward expansion. And these finally developed into a system of highways with the coming of the automobile in the 20th century. But in just the past few decades, a new kind of road has begun to spread across the nation. It is called thruway, or parkway, or expressway, or freeway, but the names all mean the same thing. We shall call it freeway, but whatever the name, it is now a part of our way of life. Freeways are already proving invaluable, particularly around large population centers. But they do pose some special problems for the millions of drivers who use them. Freeways are designed for the high-speed movement of great numbers of automobiles, and when used properly, are safer than ordinary surface streets. 2.5 times safer, in fact. But the freeway is a new and different world. A world which requires a new and different kind of driving by those who use it. Motorists here are bound together by certain practical rules and courtesies necessary for mutual protection. And any individual who does not or will not recognize this is a menace to everyone. However, such drivers can usually be separated into certain types, which can be illustrated by a few rather extreme examples. This specimen we shall call Driverius timidicus, the timid driver, a shy and retiring fellow. Usually overcautious, he can be a definite menace because he does not adjust to freeway driving demands. For an example, observe the way he enters a freeway on which the traffic is heavy but moving well. Mr. T proceeds carefully along the entrance ramp, which of course he should do. Now he tries to keep one eye on the car ahead of him, and the other on his rear view mirror to look for oncoming traffic. But he doesn't really trust mirrors, and he finds it confusing anyway. So he slows down as he would at an ordinary street intersection and takes a good look. The spaces seem very small. So, again, as he would at an intersection, he stops to wait for a big opening. This often comes as a surprise to drivers behind him, and can result in a sort of boxcar effect. Now, while Timidicus watches for that big opening, let's go back a moment and see what he should have done. With the entrance ramp clear ahead, he should have been picking up speed to begin to match that of cars in the traffic lanes. His rearview mirror, plus a quick glance back, would have covered any blind spots, and he could have made final speed adjustments in the merging or acceleration lane. Now, showing firm intention, he would need only a slight change in speed, faster or slower, to slip easily into a small space. Also, the driver behind is now able to be courteous and let him in. But getting back to Mr. T, he has increased his own problem enormously by stopping unnecessarily. To go from a full stop to freeway speed, say about 55 miles per hour, would require over 500 feet, roughly twice the length of a football field, before he can merge safely. And Mr. T must start at precisely the right instant, or the gap will close too quickly, and he will be in danger of a rear-end collision. The approaching driver will be forced to slow down. And this can mushroom into a chain reaction, causing the boxcar effect again, this time far down the line of traffic. But again, what about Timidicus, who at last finds himself on the freeway?
Blue.
High speed makes him nervous and apprehensive, so he drives slowly. If he keeps to the right and doesn't go too slow, this causes little real trouble. But all too often, he strays into the fast traffic lanes. Mr. T, convinced that people shouldn't drive so fast anyway, believes he is driving safely and has no idea that he may be creating a problem. But now, drivers behind him are forced to slow down quickly to avoid a collision, or rapidly change lanes, which causes others to slow down. This can result in the usual chain reaction and boxcar effect. And innocent drivers often pay because Mr. T does not adjust to the freeway. The delay and confusion that follows invariably frays nerves and tempers and reveals another freeway menace we shall call Motoramus fidgetus, the impatient motorist.
Gall dang people that camp on the freeway. Come on, get going.
Members of this species are usually excitable,
What's the matter up there? Move it, come on, move it.
explosive in nature,
Get a horse.
or highly competitive in spirit.
Oh, yeah, well, the same to you, Buster.
Mr. F usually displays an avid desire to get ahead, and when free to do so, is an habitual lane changer. Of course, a lane change is sometimes necessary, and when it is, a signal should always be given first. Next, a quick look to cover the blind spot. Then speed up and move in well ahead of the car in the next lane. Freeway pros will cooperate by dropping back a bit, for they know that courtesy is a practical rule here. But Fidgetus, in his impatience, will cut sharply in front of other drivers, forcing them to use their brakes. The same chain reaction often results. And Mr. F's progress can sometimes be measured by the path of destruction he leaves behind. But Mr. F occasionally finds himself unable to pass the car ahead. And now, in irate frustration, he is apt to move up bumper to bumper, regardless of the speed.